Hi kids, this is Miss Rentika. How's you doing? Hope you always healthy and eager to learn. This week we have learned about ecosystem. Last week you have learned about some condition in ecosystem that affects the ecosystem and the livings that live there. Before we going further for the next subtopic, let's do review for a while. Okay, first about level of organization. Start with organism, population, community, and last, ecosystem. What is organism? It's an individual living thing. Example, a frog. What is population? Population is a group of organisms. It means more than one living things live in an area. Example, population of frogs. So they are group of frogs that live in an area. Next level is community. What is community? Community means there are some different population live in an area. Example, if the habitat is in pond, then there are some frogs or population of frogs and some dragonfly, or we can call them as population of dragonfly. So they are more than one kind of population. And then last, ecosystem. Ecosystem means there are some community live together in a place or in an area, include the non-living things such as water, light, soil, and they will have some interaction both between living things or living things and non-living things. So is it clear for the level of organization? Good. Let's next. Two kinds of ecosystem or two types of ecosystem based on the size. There are two types of ecosystem. Small ecosystem and large ecosystem. Small ecosystem is part of large ecosystem. What are the examples? They are garden or soil or a river. What are examples of large ecosystem? Examples: forest or ocean or desert, tropical rainforest or grassland. So those are examples of small ecosystem and large ecosystem. Next types of ecosystem based on who made it. There are two types of ecosystem: natural ecosystem and artificial ecosystem. What is natural ecosystem? Natural ecosystem is made by natural process. Example, forest or a seashore or ocean, desert. And the second type of ecosystem depend on who made it is artificial ecosystem. Artificial ecosystem is made by human. So people will design the place or the ecosystem, provide food, water, and etc. to make the living things can survive there. Examples are an aquarium, zoo, and garden or park. And remember that different ecosystems have different conditions and different living things that live there. Okay, so today we are going to learn about the next subtopic, that is disturbing ecosystem. For some learning objectives, you will learn to: number 1, to identify and describe ecosystems and its importance. 2, identify abiotic and biotic factors that work together in an ecosystem. 3, to describe how different human impacts affect the ecosystem. 4, to interpret and summarize data presented in graphs showing human impacts on the ecosystem. And last, to describe some ways to maintain the balanced ecosystem. Look at the picture of a simple farm ecosystem in Australia. The number of sheep and cows will increase when they reproduce or giving birth. The cows and sheep eat the grass and drink in the water. If there's not enough grass or water, some animals will die and their numbers will decrease. Now compare with picture B. So many years ago, people brought a few rabbits into Australia. The numbers of rabbits on farms increased quickly, but some of sheep and cows began to die. The number of sheep and cows decreased. Could you think some reason of these questions? Why the numbers of rabbits increased? Why the amount of grass then decreased? Why then some sheep and cows died? In that case, the farm in Australia is disturbed by human activity. So human or people brought the new organism in the ecosystem or in the farm in Australia. That is population of rabbit. The rabbits will disturb a balanced ecosystem in a farm. What is a balanced ecosystem? When an ecosystem is not disturbed, it's balanced. So the ecosystem can provide enough food, water, shelter for each organism. So a balanced ecosystem is easily disturbed by natural force or by human activities. So when this happens, it could be harm for the environment and change the number of plants and animals. Let me give you an example. Look at the picture. What happens? Yeah, human cut down the trees or deforestation. So what is the result? Yeah, the living things lost their habitat. How about the number of trees? Of course, will decrease. And the orang-utans, if it happens in Indonesia, yeah, orang-utans also will decrease because they lost their habitat. They also lack of food waters. A balanced ecosystem can be disturbed by natural forces such as weather, rain, flood, and drought, by disease that kill the organisms such as coronavirus or Ebola virus that ever killed more than 5,000 gorillas in West Africa, or different organisms coming to the new habitat. We call them as invasive organism, or the organism that leaving the habitat. A balanced ecosystem also can be disturbed by human activities such as by deforestation. Human cut down trees and make living things lose their habitat. Pollution can cause death of organisms. Overhunting of animals for food. Example, consumption of shark fin soup. It's illegal already. Or overhunting of animal for animal parts such as skin of snake to make bag. Use poison to kill animals. Example, farmer often use DDT to kill the pest or control pest. DDT is chemical compound that can kill insects. How, kids? Is it clear? I have one more information. So, the natural forces and the human activities can disturb the ecosystem by affecting the food chain. What is the food chain? Food chain is a linear sequence of organisms which starts from producer organisms or plants and ends with decomposer species such as fungi, worm, and bacteria. Animals and plants are part of food chains. In a balanced ecosystem, each animal in the food chain has enough food to eat. When the ecosystem is disturbed, the number of organisms in a food chain will change. Look at the following food chain below. This is one of food chain. The first living thing is green plants. The arrow sign means gets eaten. So green plants gets eaten by caterpillar. Caterpillar gets eaten by lizard, and lizard gets eaten by snake. If the numbers of caterpillars decrease, what may happen to the number of lizards and snakes? Let's imagine there are not enough caterpillars for the lizard to eat. Of course, many lizards will die. And with fewer lizards, the number of snakes also will decrease. Thus, a change in the number of caterpillars also change the number of the other organisms. And then, what might then happen to the number of green plants? If the number of caterpillars decrease, then the green plants will increase because there are fewer of caterpillars eat the green plants. Okay, now what you have learned today? Let's list one by one.
1. A balanced ecosystem contains everything organisms need to live. There is enough food, water, light, and shelter for each organism. 2. Balanced ecosystem can be disturbed by natural forces such as weather, disease, natural disaster, organisms coming into or leaving a habitat. 3. Balanced ecosystem can be disturbed by human activities such as deforestation, pollution, overhunting of animals, and using poisons to kill animals. 4. When disturbed, the number of organisms in a food chain or food web will change.
Okay, kids, so is it clear? If you still feel confused, you may ask me through Edmodo. After this, you still have another video to make you more understand about this subtopic, and then after that, don't forget to do the quizzes. Okay, stay healthy and happy learning. See you.